What's up, guys? This is Ray. Welcome to Asian Films, and we're here to talk about my 10 most anticipated Japanese movies of 2019. Well, more specifically, the Japanese movies that will be released in the cinemas in 2019. And I'm making this video as kind of a follow-up to my favorite Japanese movies of 2018. Just as I'm excited for movies last year, I'm definitely just as excited for movies this year. And the fun part about making this kind of list is that I check back on these videos at the end of the year and see if my opinions at the end of the year match up with my anticipations from the beginning. And last year it didn't really match up that well. I think maybe one movie made my from last year's most anticipated list made my favorites list of last year. But that's something I always look forward to every year. And the same thing with this year. There's a ton of movies I'm looking forward to. Some that are going to be released by directors I try to follow. I try to catch each one of their movies in the cinema, and I'm definitely excited of what 2019 is going to bring. Starting off at number 10 is Parallel World Love Story, directed by Mori Yoshitaka. And the reason I'm excited for this movie is because it's an adaptation of a Higashino Keigo novel. And Higashino Keigo, he might not be a name that immediately rings a bell to a lot of movie fans, but I'm pretty sure you know a few of the novels that has been adapted. A couple of his adapted novels that come to mind are The Miracles of the Namiya General Store and Laplace's Witch, also the TV drama Shinzan Nomo and every single one of its movie episodes, and also last year's The House Where the Mermaid Sleeps. And Parallel World Love Story, simply put, the story, it's about a guy who wakes up, let's call it World A. He lives his life, but then he wakes up the next day and it's basically World B. It seems like things have changed, and after a while he starts to wonder if things are an illusion, things are actually real, because everything plays out much different than what he remembers should. Next up at number 9 is The Fable, directed by Eguchi-kan, and from what I understand, it's based off of a manga and stars Okada Junichi, an actor who is absolutely great in all his roles. It's about this contract killer, this assassin, and his most recent assignment is to basically take a year off and live a normal life, and then what ensues seems to be the kind of comedy and awkward fish out of water type of story you can expect from a trained killer trying to live a normal life as a regular dude. And the reason I'm excited for this movie is because, well, it has Okada Junichi. I like him a lot in his movies, and above all else, it seems like just a fun comedy action movie hybrid. Next up at number 8 is Tonde Saitama, directed by Takeuchi Hideki, the director of the Termae Ramaya movies and also last year's Tonight at the Movies. Now, watching the trailer, this movie just seems absolutely nuts. I mean, it's based off of a manga. It stars Nikaido Fumi and Gakuto. And I have no idea what to think about this movie. All I know is it just looks batshit crazy, and I just absolutely need to watch it. It takes place in the world where everyone in Tokyo just looks down upon people from Saitama. Saitama is the neighboring prefecture, one of the neighboring prefectures of Tokyo, and everyone from Saitama is persecuted. And then we get introduced to these characters, one of whom is played by Nikaido Fumi, who actually, from what the description on Asian Wiki says, plays a guy, even though he physically looks like a girl, and he gets attracted by another dude who is played by Gakuto. Apparently they're high school students. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, they find out that Gakuto is actually from Saitama, even though he's dressed all regally and with his nice clothes. And this war just seems to be brewing, this huge battle. And I don't know what's going on. It just looks batshit crazy, and I absolutely love these types of movies. And if it's going to have the same kind of humor as Termae Ramaya, I'm all about it. Next up at number 7 is To the Ends of the Earth, and it's going to be the newest movie directed by Kurosawa Kiyoshi. Now, this doesn't seem like a movie I would typically enjoy from Kurosawa. I love his thrillers, his horror films. This seems to be more of a coming-of-age story. It stars Maeda Atsuko, who was once from AKB48, and she visits this foreign country called Uzbekistan. I apologize if I'm pronouncing the name of the country incorrectly, but apparently it looks like it's a joint project between Japanese studios and Uzbekistan studios. And it stars this girl, this TV reporter, who travels to this country, and through the people she meets and the adventures she has in this country, she grows as a person. At least that's what the description made it sound like. I don't know. I think the premise on its own isn't really appealing to me, but just the fact that Kurosawa's directing it, it's more than enough reason for me to at least check it out. Next up at number 6 is the latest movie by Miki Takehiro called Fortuna's Eye. And I enjoy Miki Takehiro movies. Before I watch, I always know what to expect. I usually expect an enjoyable romantic story, and this movie seems just that, but with a more fantasy twist to it. It stars Kamiki Ryonosuke and Arimura Kasumi, and Kamiki's character, I think he had an accident or something, but ever since then, he's had kind of this special power where people who are about to die, he's able to see he's able to tell that they're about to die because their body starts becoming kind of clear or translucent, or at least parts of the body. And that's kind of the indicator to him that they're about to die. And he falls in love with this girl, but then sooner or later he starts to see through her body, meaning that she's about to die. So he's trying to work hard to try to prevent her death from happening. And my excitement for this movie comes from the fact that, Miki Takehiro movies, as much as I don't really like watching romantic stories nowadays, I genuinely do like watching Miki's romantic stories. Next up at number 5, well, there's no English title for this movie yet. I can only find the Japanese name for it, and it's called Kiyokini gozaimasen. And the reason I'm excited for this movie is because it's directed by Mitani Koki, whom I absolutely love. He directs some absolutely entertaining ensemble cast comedies, for example, The Magic Hour, Once in a Blue Moon, and Galaxy Turnpike. And this movie stars Nakai Kiichi, and it's about this guy who wakes up and he has no memory at all. And he's trying to figure out what's happening. Then he realizes he's the Prime Minister of Japan. And what seems interesting to me is that as the Prime Minister, apparently, he wasn't really well liked. But, he's trying to regain his memories, and he's trying to do his job as the Prime Minister of Japan. So what happens is that he tries to pretend to the public that he's a prime minister when, he obviously, as far as post-memory loss is concerned, is not the prime minister. But from in everyone's eyes, he is the prime minister. It seems just this really weird mess of a comedy, of which I absolutely trust Mitani Koki to deliver something entertaining out of. Next up at number 4, we have Kingdom, directed by Sato Shinsuke, the guy who directs probably the most badass action anime adaptations, in my opinion. What did he direct? Well, he directed the Gantz movies, he directed Inuyashiki, the Bleach live action, and a whole bunch of just really fun action anime adaptations. And this seems like it's going to follow that kind of trend. This takes place in China during the Warring States period, and it stars Yamazaki Kento and Yoshizawa Ryo, and it's about these warriors who are trying to unify China. So I expect just something fun and entertaining. I don't expect the best of all stories per se, but I do expect something just fun. I mean, that's what I enjoy the most about Sato Shinsuke's movies. Generally the action, the fight choreography, and the visual effects, everything is usually on point. And that's the main reason why I'm excited for Kingdom. Next up at number 3, the premise of this movie seems just wild and batshit crazy. I love that. I love those kind of movies, just the batshit crazy type of movies. And this next movie is called Backstreet Girls Gokudodus. The Gokudodus part is a play on words. It combines the words Gokudo, which is the word to describe the genre of Yakuza movies, and also dolls, as in basically idols. It's about this Yakuza gang who they figure out a great way to earn some cash is to join the idol industry. When I say idols, I mean like AKB48, girls would just prance around in front of old men. And so this boss orders 3 dudes to get a sex change in order to become idols. And so it just sounds weird. And if you check out the trailer, I don't know what to expect for this movie, but it just seems so weird and insane that I absolutely have to check it out. And of course, you can expect the actresses who are playing post-procedure Yakuza, when they're gonna be looking like cute idols, but they're gonna be talking like Yakuza, and I just love that mishmash. And I don't know what to expect this movie, but I know it's gonna be insane. Next up at number 2, we have Dance With Me. It's directed by Yaguchi Shinobu, director of Swing Girls, Water Boys, Survival Family from a couple years ago, and his movies are just wonderful. They're all heartwarming. He makes great fish out of water stories. And the premise of this movie is about this woman who works at a trading company, and then she gets hypnotized so that whenever she hears any kind of music, whether it be a cell phone chime or even just something on TV or on the radio, she starts breaking out in dance. And she tries to go back to the hypnotist to remove this spell, but he's nowhere to be found. So ensues this journey of just her breaking out into dance whenever she hears any kind of music. The reason I'm excited for this movie is because, well, it's directed by Yaguchi Shinobu, one of my favorite directors, and I try to catch all his movies in the cinema if I have a chance, and this movie, yeah, I know I'm gonna have a great time. Next up at number 1, it's an anime movie, and it's going to be the latest movie directed by Shinkai Makoto called Weathering with You. Shinkai Makoto was the director of Your Name, which was a huge hit a couple years ago. And, you know, I like Shinkai Makoto's movies. I was a fan ever since watching 5 centimeters per second. And, you know, I'm pretty sure this movie is going to get a lot of buzz when it comes out later this year. And because he already made it into the mainstream with Your Name. I think before Your Name, his movies were a little bit niche. I mean, he was known, but not as well known as he is now. So the story of Weathering with You, it's about this dude who moves to Tokyo from the countryside, and in order to make ends meet, he writes for this magazine. And ever since starting his job, the weather has just been nonstop raining. And eventually he meets this girl and her brother, and this girl has this magical power where she can stop the rain and make the sky sunny. So what do I expect from Weathering with You? Well, I expect very vibrant colors, a wonderful musical soundtrack, and maybe Shinjuku. I feel like Shinkai Makoto features Shinjuku in more than one of his movies. It was definitely in Your Name. It was even in Garden of Words and 5 centimeters per second. I feel like he loves putting Shinjuku somewhere in his movie. So I kind of expect Shinjuku to play some kind of role as far as the setting is concerned in Weathering with You. But either way, regardless, I'm definitely excited for it. So yes, those are my 10 most anticipated movies which will be coming out in 2019 in Japanese cinemas. What are you guys excited for? Please let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And if you really enjoy my content, please know you can support Asian Filmist via Patreon from as little as $1. And that's about it for me, guys. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all again in the next video. Take it easy.